What is going on, people of YouTube? My name is Kurtyoy and welcome to another Game Week preview. We're into Game Week 12 now, and the season is really kicking into gear. Teams are, well, my team at least, is starting to fire in points. Had another good week. If you didn't see the review, I'll go and show you my points on. I believe I got 74, 74, which is almost 20 above the average. Key performers, obviously, being Mahrez, being Vardy again, being Koscielny. Czech also had a decent week too. So, some positives, negatives being Sanchez didn't even get a goal or assist, neither did Payet, neither did Berahino, so maybe something to look for there. But I'm here to tell you about 3 players in each position I believe you should be looking for in making your team work this week. If you've got a transfer or two or fancy using your wild card, then this is going to be the transfer, well, basically like a shortlist video. I'm basically your scout. I've given you the players. Yes, your choice whether you sign them or not. But we're going to start off with goalkeepers. As I click on defenders by accident, first goalkeeper I've got is the Stoke goalkeeper Jack Butland. Now this is a bit of a risk because Stoke do have to play against Chelsea. However, I don't feel like Stoke will be the best team. I feel like Chelsea will come back with a bang this week. And if they do, either A, he's going to get a clean sheet and a few saves. B, he's going to get quite more saves and less of a clean sheet. So either way, he's going to be bringing you in points this week, and definitely one to look at if you're looking for maybe a reserve goalkeeper and you've got a bit of money. Because if I could bring him in here, and I could have Czech and then Butland as well, which is a great thing to have at the club. But moving on from that, I'm not going to add him in yet because I'm not sure about my transfers. I want to maybe think over it. Second of all, I've got De Gea. I mumbled my words horrifically there. Who is there on 35 points. He's doing okay. He saved them against Crystal Palace. He could one save away from getting an extra bonus point. Grabbed himself 9 points this week. Last week. However, he's got West Brom this week, which is a huge opportunity for him to get, an easy clean sheet. They're a very defensive-minded team, so I think attacking-wise, United players won't do that well because they're very good in the back, the Tony Pulis regime. However, one thing I found with West Brom this season, if they're going to concede, they'll concede 2 or 3. They'd barely concede 1. But David Gea definitely won because I think he'll get an easy clean sheet this week, and also get an easy clean sheet for me is going to be Joe Hart. Now, they are away to Villa, and I was debating whether to put Joe Hart or Brad Guzan there. But after the 3-1 loss, Villa suffered against Spurs on Monday Night Football. For me, it has to be Hart, although I think Villa will be a new team now. Hopefully they'll prove me wrong and saying Sherwood should have been sacked. Remy Gard's going to come in, really put some firepower into the team and put some belief into the team, something that they lacked throughout most of the time after they sold all their big players, notably Vlaar, Delph, and also the big man Benteke, who's in fine form for Liverpool. Moving on to midfielders, moving on to the defenders now. I've got 3 more defenders. I'm actually going to have to do it on teams. I'm not sure if I'll find them quickly. But West Ham's top defender by a good 13 points this season and played in every single minute, I believe. Yes, is Aaron Cresswell, player of the season last season. He's grabbed himself the most assists of any defender so far this season. Grabbed himself 3 assists. He's got Everton. Now, I think, personally, it's going to be a ding-dong battle, score draw. Definitely a high-scoring draw. Both teams like to score, they like to concede, and also, I think, recent form has suggested that. And I think if they're going to grab an assist, I think Cresswell's got a good chance, almost like an upcoming Leighton Baines. He's got a fantastic wand of a left foot and can use it to his advantage by trying to split open with the defence with just a killer ball or crossing, which is something they can do now with Diafra Sakho maybe coming back and getting into form. You've got Andy Carroll also looking like he's much sharper, even though he cannot do a Cruyff turn. Second defender for me is a quite surprisingly cheap defender still, is Laurent Koscielny. He's still not gone back up to 6 million. I was going to get rid of him before the Watford game. I decided not to, and since then I've reaped the rewards of it. Grabbed himself a clean sheet against Watford, then also a goal against Everton, and a goal and a clean sheet away at Swansea. Fantastic form from him. He's got a huge game against Spurs, and I feel like, with 2 goals in 2 games, if they are to get a goal from a corner or a set play, Laurent Koscielny's got a huge probability of doing so. They seem to be working well with him and getting headers in now, so hopefully if they're going to score, it'll be through him again, and also a good chance clean sheets as well, as I feel like Arsenal are currently in better form than Spurs. Following on from that, we have one last defender, Is one I might have mentioned before. It's Marcus Rojo for Manchester United. For the simple fact, you're looking at how many injuries they've got. McNair's out, Valencia's out, Shaw is out, and Darmian is out. I think Darmian is suspended though for the next game. So you're looking at that, you're thinking Smalling, Rojo and Jones have to play if they're fit. Rojo definitely has to play. Blind will be back there in centre-back for some bizarre reason as well. And maybe we're looking at someone else slotting back into the defence also. But I think maybe they'll push Jones out to the right, Smalling and Blind in the centre, Rojo in the left. Also, like I've said, I feel like it could be an easy clean sheet plus a chance of getting goals from the back, definitely. The highest chance, I think, against West Brom. And Marcus Rojo presents a good threat. Moving on to midfield now. I think the first one we can guess who I'm going to say is Riyad Mahrez. I have put him in there because I didn't want to make it all obvious picks. Riyad Mahrez is in there though because I struggled to find midfielders that would get or securely get high points. Mahrez has a home game against Watford, although Watford have been decent at not conceding and good in the defence. I think Mahrez has abused quite a lot of defences. West Ham, Sunderland, Tottenham. You're looking at Stoke as well. 2 assists against Villa. Did okay against Southampton as well. Basically gave them the game against Palace and also scored 2 goals against West Brom. He's on fire. Linked to Manchester United, definitely one to get into your teams. And then following on from that, rather surprising one, he's not on the first page. So we're going to scroll down and find Everton, and I'm going to say Gerard Deulofeu. He has not been in first team plans, however he has been, well introduced into the team in the past few games, you can see there. And for me, he had a fantastic game against Sunderland, although it was Sunderland, admittedly. But you're coming against West Ham away. He's shown what class he has. I've always thought he was a class player since, football manager and early days of his career when he's been on that loan to clubs, especially early on. I think he was loaned to Everton. If we see, on loan to Everton, did really well there. Surprised they didn't sign him permanently then, but £4 million for Gerard Deulofeu, definitely someone for the future and definitely someone that could get you points this week. And moving on from that, finally, we can go back into Swansea, finally, and we're going to put a big fat, that's a bit mean, but Andre Ayew hasn't been in form recently, not really showing the pace, but for me, he's coming back into it. He's in, here and there, bits and bobs, but he has an away game against Norwich, who haven't had a clean sheet all season, and if anything's going to go through Swansea, it'll go through him, because I feel like he's their main creator, he's their main threat, and Gomez is out of form, Montero hasn't looked lively, and then you're looking at Sigurdsson, who, on and off, I have to admit, very on and off, but, I feel like Andre Ayew will make a difference this week. And finally, strikers. Surprisingly, as you can already see, because I haven't got time to put the stats in there and why I've put them there, there's no Vardy, because I feel like that's an obvious choice. And yes, he'll be coming towards the game where he doesn't score. I feel like you can't keep on scoring. If he does for the whole season and get him to the World Cup, play friendlies every week until he gets to the World Cup, because otherwise he's going to stop scoring. But for me, the first player is going to be another mention for Southampton's big man up top, quite a nice Barnet as well. Graziano Pella, who grabbed himself a goal against Bournemouth, and he has an away game against Sunderland, and of course, Sunderland like to concede goals. Pella likes to score goals. It equals a good match. Moving on from there, we do have another high-scoring striker, and in fact, all 3 of them could be considered high-scoring. Odion Ighalo comes into the team. He has got a knock, so I would say, be careful with that. He might not play, or might not start, but he's in fine form himself. Grabbing himself 7 goals and 2 assists so far this season, having scored 2 against West Ham to basically give them the game and win it for them indeed. And lastly, I did mention Bafétimbi not being in form. I've kept him in there. I have risked it, but away against Norwich, they haven't had a clean sheet. He's, a really, pacey striker who can turn on the pace. He's got strength. He can finish. He hasn't scored since he got the first 4 in the 4 games start of the season. But I have every confidence in him that he can come in and get a good game against Norwich. If not, he's been really bad form. But you're looking at his price as well. He went up to 7.5 million. He's now down to 6.8. It could be an absolute bargain for you. I'm not going to say he'll do well, but for 6.8 million, he will start firing again at some point. He has to start firing. He won't stop. And when he starts firing, you'll be laughing because you got him for cheaper, and then everyone else is transferring him in when he's about £0.5 million more. So they've lost our money. But thank you guys for watching. Nevertheless, hopefully all these players, you can maybe suggest yourself thinking, Can I get them in? Maybe I can't, maybe I can, and also look at bring them in because I feel like all 12 of them have a chance of getting high points this week. But thank you guys for watching. If you do want to let me know of what players you're looking at for this week, let me know in the comments down below, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all in my next video. Peace.